Bungie's Festival of the Lost is a complete joke. The fashion show. If you don't know, there are various rules that you need to abide by if you want to win, but apparently Bungie doesn't even follow their own rules. And so you got a bunch of people breaking them and winning multiple times. And basically just the whole thing is mismanaged like a lot of other things. And you might think, well, how bad could it really be, Lucky? I mean, come on, just wait. This person right here went through the work. They did the work, okay? They said, at Destiny 2 team and Destiny 2 the game, I love how you make rules for this Festival of the Lost competition and then completely disregard them per your own post, all right? And they reference all of the requirements. Winners must tag their entries with the Festival of the Lost fashion or Festival of the Lost creation hashtag and must only submit a maximum of 3 entries. So out of the 55 winners, 15 of them failed one or both of those criteria, either submitting more than 3 entries or not using the hashtag. 12 of the winners did not use a hashtag yet won. 4 of the winners submitted more than 3 entries, not counting those who won from posts without hashtags. Can you imagine you're the guy who didn't use the hashtag and submitted more than 3? Some winners went so far as to submit more than 10 when 3 is the apparent max. 20 of the winners won more than once across the event, with 18 winners winning with the same posts multiple times. Ay, Dios mío. One person won a total of 4 times across the event. Like, what is going on here? Who is picking these Festival of Lost entries? Just remember that someone is getting paid $110,000 a year by Bungie to do this, okay? So if you're ever feeling bad about how much money you make or how competent you are and how you should be making more money, just remember that someone was hired, someone was interviewed, someone met the qualifications to do this job and is actively getting paid $110,000 a year to fuck up this bad. Just think about that for a minute, okay? If that doesn't give you hope or inspiration to accomplish more in life, to know that you have the mental acuity to make 6 figures as an annual salary, then I don't know what will. Okay, this should be your wake-up call that you can do it, okay? Because if this person can do this shitty of a job and remain at Bungie and remain making $110,000+ a year, then anyone can do this. You know what I'm saying? Anyone could do this job. This is basically they just picked a bunch of random fucking people. They didn't care about duplicates. They didn't care about the rules. They didn't care about people breaking the rules in multiple different ways. They didn't care about anything. They just said, fuck it. Let's just throw a random dart at a board and whoever it lands on, that's who wins today, I guess. Which is really bad. I understand these competitions. They're very controversial. They're controversial because how do you prove that someone's art is theirs, that they came up with this, warlock ornament set originally, or that they didn't copy someone else? We've had a lot of problem with the fashion shows in the past. Don't get me wrong. That's always going to exist because it's hard to prove who put together this ornament in this shader combination first. But that aside, the level of mismanagement on something as simple as a Festival of the Lost competition is crazy. And we've been talking about the mismanagement for a while. This whole cycle feels like it really began with Marathon and Edge of Fate, and it's just carrying on and on and on. It's like this big snowball, and like it just keeps growing. And every week we get a new thing tacked onto this snowball of mismanagement. The only thing I can possibly attribute this to is that the best and brightest at Bungie decided to leave. That's all I can say. And now there's just a bunch of new people. And hey, don't get me wrong. If you're a new person and you're kind of, you're hitting the ground running and you got to figure shit out, I understand there's a certain level of messing up. There's a certain level of fucking up. If you're just new to your job, you just got thrown into the fucking hot seat, right? Someone's been sitting there for 10 years cooking up Destiny and now you got to figure it all out. I could see that being problematic. But this is a level of fucking up that is astonishing. This is a level of messing up that's like, did you even try? Did you even try to do your job right? Did you? Because if we actually look at the evidence here, it would look as though you did not give a single fuck about any of the rules. You cannot submit more than 3 entries, okay? So if you submit more than 3, that should disqualify people because people are just spamming entries, just spamming more and more entries so that way they can win. So these people are entering more than 10 times, okay? It should at least be said in the rules then, if you can't do more than 3, then you get disqualified if you do more than 3, right? Or something along those lines. You can come up with the exact terms, but when you say you can't do more than 3, it's implied that if you do 4, you're not going to win. You know, you're just spamming too much, and then Bungie can't manage all of it. Like, Bungie doesn't have the time and the effort to pay someone $110,000 a year to, you know, browse through Twitter and everywhere else and hand out a bunch of emblems to people, right? Like, it's a lot of entries. There's enough players and enough entries that it could get out of hand. So it would be smart for you to at least follow your own rules to manage this thing properly. And then secondly, giving out the same winner multiple times. I mean, this is something we've seen a bunch of times. Bungie has been roasted for this so many times now that it almost feels mean to talk about it. But there's been like the Artist of the Week and the Movie of the Week winners. And there's been some people like there's like this guy, like, I want to say it was like 3 years ago. There's this guy that won like Artist of the Week for like the 5th time. And he was like, guys, like, can we just like start giving it to someone else? Like, he was like upset. He was like, Matt, he's like, come on. Like, there's other good artists out there. Like, stop. Like, the guy had to roast Bungie for continuously giving him Artist of the Week. Cause he's like, dude, like, I've won it enough times now, you know? Like, it's so bad. It's so bad. One person won 4 times. Think about that. Not just one person. You should only be able to win 1 time. He didn't win 1 time. He didn't win twice. He didn't even win a 3rd time. 4 times in the event. In the same event he won. 4 times. And some of these people aren't even using the hashtag. So how are you even finding these? Where are you searching for this shit? How are you finding these winners? How? The algorithm just pops it up as a Destiny thing and then you just pick them anyways? You should absolutely need to include the hashtag if that's a part of the requirements. So bad. So bad. And to be fair, this contest, it's lighthearted. You know, it ain't that serious, right? This isn't do or die for Bungie or for, you know, Destiny 2 in some ways. This is, oh my God, it's over. Destiny is dying because of this. Of course not, you know? Like, it's not that serious, but it really shows how Bungie is doing things and who is behind the wheel for some of these things. It's perplexing to me that there's actually a real person. Like, I could understand if this was like AI that, like, you know, randomly picked a bunch of winners, but a real person sat down, created this competition and announced all of these winners. A real person did this. And I find it hard to believe that there is a person walking around there in the real world that thought they did a good job. They did this and like, yeah, I did a good job. I did my Festival of the Lost Fashion competition and I did it good, you know? Like, there is a person out there in the world, and it amazes me. It truly does amaze me. I don't understand. And as much as I'm getting Bungie fatigue, if I'm being honest. I'm getting Bungie fatigue from talking about the things that they do and the mismanagement and the craziness, because it's like an everyday adventure that you would think there's no way they could possibly continuously mess up for like the 492nd time in a row. You'd be like, there's no way it's 493. Like, come on. And then tomorrow you find out something and you're like, oh my God. But there's no way it's 494. And then tomorrow you're like, oh my God. And every day, I swear, it's bad, you know? And this just comes across, you know, you see other studios, they'll make mistakes too. And they fix the mistakes. They actually talk about stuff. A good example is Arc Raiders. We've been talking about that. They had a bunch of server issues on a Sunday. So what they did was they posted a public apology. They're like, oh, sorry, we had some server issues, whatever. They were getting DDoS or something. I don't know. Maybe they weren't getting DDoS. I have no clue. But they had some server issues on a Sunday. So what they did was they apologized and they gave everyone in-game currency, like silver, basically, from what I understand. And honestly, you know, that's good. That's how you should handle it. But with Bungie, in situations like this, what we find is time and time again, there just will be no mention of this. Like, this is just going to go under the radar. No one's going to notice. No one's going to care. You know, this guy didn't even get that many likes on it. Got 12 likes. Okay, it's been out for a day now. 12 likes. No one cared. 1,000 views, right? No one's going to see or notice or care. Everyone that got the emblem, they're happy they got the emblem. They're not going to complain. They're not going to be like, hey, I got the emblem 4 times. What the hell? You know, like, no one's going to, like, dude, I got the emblem. They're good. They're stoked, right? In the end, does this hurt everyone? Not really. Because, you know, just give the damn emblem out to everyone at this point, really. At this point, if you just use the hashtag, period, like, you could show a picture of you could go take a photo of a pile of dog shit in the grass and submit it with hashtag Festival Lost and probably win. Okay? And just give everyone the emblem at this rate, because that's about the level of competence that we're working with here on this. It's that bad. It's that bad. Oh, man.